Hello, and welcome back to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. Tonight I'm going to be working on a wedding magazine styled wedding program. Let's get started. So I just found out that my nephew has proposed to his girlfriend and they're going to be getting married in the next few months. And I had already been working on some wedding things, so today I think I'm going to make a wedding magazine program for them to use for their wedding. So I'm starting off with a blank sheet of paper. I'm going to go ahead and put a line down the middle, a vertical line, so that I'll have it divided into my page sections. This is going to be the front cover. This is going to be the back cover. And I'm just going to use some sample pictures that I collected just off the internet because I don't have the pictures that they might want to use yet. So I'm just going to go into my file where I have those saved and pull some of those up. I think I have them on the passport. And let's see if I can find them. There, it's the folder that I want. And I'm going to use this couple. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the front page. I'm going to bring back my positioning line. And I'm going to just drag the couple up onto the page and size it as big as I want it on the cover. So I like that about right there. And there's still a little space at the top, but we'll take care of that. And now I'm just going to crop that out. And get rid of this excess. And I want to bring this up a little bit more on the page. So what I do when I want to extend a photo page and there's nothing there to extend, I use cutout of picture with a cookie cutter shape, and I go up to just a portion of the background, not including the person, because I just want to go right into just that background edge. I'm gonna go ahead and click done, and I'm just gonna stretch this a little bit, and you'll notice that as you stretch it a little bit, the image will start to elongate a little bit, but no one will know that you did that except for you. So it looks like it's just a regular part of the background. So this spacing is looking pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead once again and I'm going to go to cutout and picture. I'm going to choose add a colored shape and I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to take that colored shape and fill it in at the top. And this is where I'm going to put the title. Now I can change this to a color. I can make it black or white or beige or gold. Let's go with that color now. Kind of blend it with the background. And their colors are actually going to be gold and white, so maybe I will make this a bit more gold. Like gold of the background right between them. Okay, so now I have this where my title is going to go, and now I'm going to choose a title by going to text, add text, and I'm going to scroll through until I find one that looks like it would be nice and chunky, that would look like what you might see on a wedding magazine. So I'm going to just scroll through. They have elephant. I can see how I like that one. I'll change it to black for now. I can always change it to something else later. So I'm going to go ahead and go with this for now, and I'm going to call this Wedding Insider. And I don't like how wide it is, so I'm just going to push that in some, kind of elongate it a little bit. We're going to call this Wedding Insider Magazine. So now I'm going to type magazine. I'm going to add a new text. I want this one to be fancy. So I think I will go with one of my favorites, Elegance, and I will type magazine. And I'm going to make this one white. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And these aren't the best pictures because I didn't look for the sharpest ones. I was just looking for something kind of quick that I could make a magazine cover with. And you could put that right in the middle if you want. Kind of overlay it over Wedding Insider. And I'm going to give this text a white edge. So I'm going to go to Edge Effects, Highlight Edge. I'm going to click this that shows a kind of thick, solid edge outline, and then I'm going to change that to white. Can make it a little smaller, or I can make it much bigger, but I don't like it that big, so we'll keep it rather small. And then I can still go in and change this text if I want. I'm just going to drop a shadow behind magazine, so I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow, go to a drop down shadow, and just make it stand out a little bit like that. Here at the top, I'm going to say Special Edition. I'll change it to another font. I'm going to change this to Arial. And it looks nice when you mix and match fonts, but find some that actually work well together. I'm going to make this solid black, and I'm going to say Special Edition, all in caps. And on the other side, I'm going to say, shrink that down a little more. I'm just going to go up here to copy and paste. Move it to the other side. And I'm going to say Nelson Wedding. Because my nephew's last name is Nelson. And also that's going to be in all caps. Click done. So now we have our magazine cover top. And I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So this is a very basic one, but you can make them as elaborate as you'd like. I think I do have a better picture than this, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with this one just to save time. I'll just sharpen it up a little bit, but it's best to start with the sharpest pictures you can find. Alright, so now we have the partial cover for our magazine, and now we're going to add in, go to cut out in picture, add a colored shape, and we're just going to add in a couple of white boxes for now. Let's make them kind of a rectangle. And these are where we're going to put our story headings, our full titles. And I'm just going to copy this and maybe make 3 of them. And don't worry about us covering up the picture, because we're gonna make these translucent so that you can see everything you need to see through them in a few seconds. So I'm gonna make those a little smaller so we can get several on there to make it look more authentic. And as you've seen on the cover of magazines, they'll have the titles of some of the stories, some of the main hits from the story showing up on scene. So now I have my 3 boxes here, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to collect all 3 of them. I'm not going to group them by clicking this button, but I want to affect them with the transparency all at the same time. So I'm going to go into Special Effects, Make Transparent, and I'm just going to drag the slide until I can see enough of the picture behind so that it sets it apart from the picture behind, but you can still see what's there. It's not blocking our main picture. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. Then I'm going to come back in with text. And the last text I used was Arial Round, which is a good one. And I'm just going to make my full titles. Let's see, right here I think I'll do something like I found my other half. Just making up anything. And this will be all in caps as well. I'm just thinking of these off the top of my head right quickly. I'm going to go ahead and take my up to this row. You can say my better half, my other half, or whatever you'd like. So we're going to have this one on this side. On this side, I'm going to have a full message or a full title from him that says, "All because she said yes." All because, oops, put a couple E's in there. I can spell, just typing kind of quickly. All because she said yes. And I'm going to move that over here. And I'm going to shrink that down. Put it there. I'm going to do that one more time. Oops, I don't want that one. I want another text box, so I'm just going to copy this one. And this one is going to say how to pick the right ring. And you could kind of move it around so that you get it, switch the letters around until you get it to look the way you want it to look. They usually, I think, use mainly block lettering pretty much on these type of magazine covers. So I'm just going to stretch these up a little bit just so that they can fill in the boxes and be a little more visible. And then I'm going to go in to each one of these and I'm going to give it a different edge effect, an edge border. So I'm going to go to Edge Effects, choose that same edge, and that one's in white, but I don't want it to be that thick. So I'm going to bring it down enough so that you can clearly read the writing. And I think I'm going to change it to orange since it'll blend in more with the background rather than the red. Click done on that one. Click on all because she said yes. I'm going to give that a different color edge. I think I'll go with the gold again. So I'm going to click on more color choices and click in this dark gold area. And I like the way that looks. And for the last one, maybe I'll go with a green. I'll see how this looks with green. So I'm going to go to Edge Effects, Highlighted Edge, and choose that thick edge again. This time I'm going to go to the color wheel and try to make a green that I like by just, okay, that doesn't look too bad, but I think I want a little more in the golden category, like a leaf. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click done on that. So now we have our cover made just like that quickly. So for the back cover, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see it. For the back cover, we can do where they might go, where they're going on their honeymoon. So I have some pictures from a vacation that I'm going to be going on next month. So I'm going to go to that folder and I'm going to open up one of those pictures. And let's see, I think I had it right here. Kawaii is what it is. So I'm going to go into that folder and I'm going to look for one that would make a good background. I like this one. This is one of the beaches, I believe, that I looked up that's there. So I'm going to bring that one up. No, I think I might use this one for the wedding party, but I'll leave it there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to open up another picture. I'll use a pool view. I think I used this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that same picture and I'm going to drag this up. But this time I'm going to be concentrated on this side of the page. When you use a Microsoft Picture, it's old software, so sometimes you'll bring a picture up into the project you're working on and it will freeze there. All you have to do is open anything and close it back up, and then it will be able to be manipulated again. As you can see, the little balls develop around it. So I'm going to just ignore what's on the front because we're going to crop it out anyway like we did before. And I'm going to make this the full page. And this is my division line right here, my divider line. So whatever is on this page is what we'll be keeping. So I'm going to move this around until I have the exact portion of the picture that I want. And I like that one with both of the little full waterfalls showing. And now I'm just going to go to cut out in picture, cut out of picture. It's a cookie cutter shape. And I'm going to do the same thing I did for the front. As you can see, if you slowly bring your cutout shape toward the middle where I have that guideline, even though you don't see it, the shape will stop at it if you move toward it slowly. So that way you know that you're not going over the area that you should be in. So once I do my next and done, and then cut out the picture that's behind it, right here, right click and delete. Format so that I can go back in and make changes if I need to do so. So now I'm going to bring in another shape. I'm going to go to cut out in picture, add a colored shape, and I'm going to use a hard shape. And I'm going to do the same thing with it that I did with the others on this side. I'm going to change it white to white, and then I'm going to also make it translucent so that we're not covering up the pretty background. So I'm going to go, once again, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to fill with a solid color. If you just want to change the color tint a little bit, you go to change color. If you want to change it to a complete solid color, you go to change to the solid. And it will change the whole picture. It won't just change the tint. And then I'm going to go back into special effect and to make transparent, and I'm going to bring this across until it's transparent enough to still see the background through it, but white enough to still uh, be able to have the text on there and have it stand out. Okay, so I have my heart there, and I'm going to put in text, add a text box, and I'm going to type our, still using that same font in all caps, our honeymoon site. I've seen where couples like to put where they're going on honeymoon on their program. I did it on my program when I got married, um, and so I'm going to do it here. You don't have to do that, of course. You can think of whatever you'd like to put on there. Our new home, whatever it is that you want publicized or put out there, showing your wedding guests. Whatever it is that you'd like to display there, you can do that. But I'm just going to go with this, our honeymoon site, and I'm going to give this a edge effect, but I'm going to give it a white edge effect so that it won't stand out too much, but it will just stand out a bit more. So now I have our wedding site, and then what I'm going to do is just add in a few more pictures of the wedding site. So I'm going to go back into the file where I have saved my vacation pictures that I'll be going on, and I'm just going to choose a few more pictures to use. Let's open just a few of the general background pictures to put in here. Maybe use that one. So I'm just going to open these and then see which ones I want to use. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my main page by switching back to it, and then I'm just going to drag and drop the other pictures, and as you can see, it did the black lines where you can't move it. So I'm opening up anything, and then I can do with it whatever I want. I think I want to use 4 of them. Let's see. I like that one pretty much. So I'll take that one up, and I'm going to make these about the same size. And maybe I'll choose one more. Okay, that's a nice one. Just some different views around the resort. See, maybe 3 will be just enough. And I'm going to make these all just about the same size. So I have my 3. So I'll put one here, leave one there, put the other one here. I'm going to move my just a little bit, so give me a little more room to work with. Zoom back out. And bring those up some. Now to make those stand out a little more because they're kind of blending in, I'm just going to get a white square from Cutout in Picture, add a colored shape. I'm going to change that shape back to a square and make it white. And I'm going to be making 3 of these, but I'll start off with this one. I'm going to bring it behind the others, the other 3 pictures. I'll take it all the way to the one at the bottom, and I just want a little white edge around the whole picture. So I'm just going to go by each side. That gave me an idea for the inside. I'm just going to drag these down a little bit, and now that's about the right size, so I'm going to copy that twice, and I'm going to put one behind each of these pictures. I can put them all the way to the back of all 3 because it will come out still exactly like I want it. So now I'm going to bring this one up And I'm just going to eyeball this as I do and mention a lot, so that it looks like it's about the same width around on all sides, just like the first picture here at the bottom. And it might be a little off, but usually no one notices it except me. Um, so I'm going to try to get them as perfect as possible. This one needs to come down a little bit more. Boy, sometimes you just need to move up, like just, there we go, just one little bit. And this one is still a little bigger, but maybe I could just bring in like one from the side, one from there, and I think that did it. So now I'm going to click on the first picture, not the white background, just a picture, tap and hold control, and then I'm going to click on the other two pictures. And while they're all joined but not completely grouped, I just want them all chosen in a group like we did with making the front cover white squares transparent. I want to group these so I can put a shadow around them so they'll stand out a little bit from their background. And it doesn't matter which one you click on. I went to shadows, add a shadow, and I chose the soft shadow. And then I'm going to just drag a little bit from the shoulder so that it'll bring that shadow out a little more. And I'm going to hit done. Then I'm going to group these. And I'm going to just add another shadow just to make the shadow that's already there darker. And that was just something I found out, and you can see how it instantly makes it stand out a little more. Then I hit the soft again. But once you do that, you have to leave them ungrouped the first time. Just choose all three, leave them ungrouped, add your shadow, then close your box here, or close the puzzle piece, and it'll group them at that point. And then you add another shadow, and it adds, makes the shadow stand out a little bit more. And now I'm going to just resize these white edges a little bit more so that I have it where it's seen about the same amount on every edge. Maybe I'll bring it out a little bit more. I'm going to do that to each one. Since I added the shadow, it covers it up a little bit, so I want to bring it out just a little more. Once again, trying to make sure that they all look about the same. Yeah, that looks better. And this one needs to come out a little bit this way. A little at the bottom. Oops. There we go. I don't use a mouse pad, so mine tends to be a little more slippery because I like to move it a little faster than the mouse pad at times. But it'll help more if I use a mouse pad for things like this. So now those are pretty much about the same, pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to group all of the whites, or choose all of the white ones. I'm going to go ahead and click to keep them in place, and then I'm going to add a shadow to that, but this time I'm going to do a drop down shadow because I want to raise them off of the background a little bit. So as you can see, the drop down, and then I'm going to, I'll do it once again so you can see it clearly, but this time I chose the drop left, or you can use drop right. I think I'll go with the drop right so you can see it better, and I'm just going to bring it down a little bit so you can see it, and I'm going to make it a little bit transparent and a little softer so it looks more like it's floating. And I'm going to hit done and done, zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to make these a little smaller because it looks like my page to me is kind of kind of too much was going on as far as they looked too big and just didn't quite look right for me. So I'm making them a little smaller, and I like the way that looks better. The page doesn't look as crowded and is showing more of the background. And then I'm just going to take that text again, which was the Arial rounded, and I'm going to change it this time to gold. I'll choose that same gold I've been using over here in their background. Maybe I'll make it a little lighter since it needs to stand out. I'll go with this portion. It needs to stand out really well against the greenery down here. And then I'm going to just type the place, which is Kauai, Hawaii. And just to make it look a little different, I'm going to italicize it, give it a slant, and then I'll shrink it down a little bit. And just like that, you've made your wedding magazine front and back. I almost forgot to add the barcode. So now that we have our finished page, I just downloaded any barcode from the internet, and we're just going to personalize this barcode with the wedding date. So first I'm going to add a cutout, make it white because I want to cover the numbers that are here. So I'm just going to go right to the edge of those numbers, and I'm going to bring this up, this white box up, just so I can cover up those numbers. Then I'm going to add the wedding date, which is, and once again I'm going to use all caps, and I'm going to use unitalicized Arial round again in black. And the date, I'm just going to go ahead and put September, I think it's a 15th, 2019. I forgot the date, but I think it's 15th, but all of this can be changed, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. Or you can just use all numbers, but I think it's kind of nice if you put the wedding date on there instead. And now I'm going to make another white box just because I want to have all sides of it even around our UPC code. So now I'm going to hold this, my white square is already chosen, and I'm just going to hold control, and I'm going to click on the date and the UPC code. And I'm going to join that puzzle piece. Oops. I left out my white box. Add my little white box at the bottom that was covering the numbers. Now I'm going to group it. I'm going to shrink it down and drop it on the page underneath this heading. And shrink it down a little bit. And now you have what looks like your actual magazine cover. The pictures snap to that line that I put there to show the center. So to keep it from doing that, I'll just resize it a little bit by the edges. Try to make it big enough where they can notice the date there. And then we'll zoom out, and you have your cover. I can make that a little smaller. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller, but I'll make it a little smaller. And then I'm going to save this, and we'll have our completed wedding cover. And next we'll be working on the bridal party page. Here is the finished magazine program cover. Thanks again for stopping by to watch Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus tutorials. Next time we'll be working on the wedding party page. Actually, it's already recorded. It will soon be edited and posted. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like to be available to see my future tutorials. Thanks again.